Hey, fight fans, welcome back to Carlo Prusa MMA. Today, we got a very special guest for you. My guest is coming off of a big LFA 208 win. He is former NFL football player, top heavyweight prospect. He is the incredible Hoke. He is Mr. Josh Hokit. Josh, what's going on, my friend? How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Last time we saw you out just a few weeks ago over in LFA, I mean, such a great victory. You were able to finish it in the first round. Looking back at it now, what do you make from the contest?
Yeah, no, I had three opponents drop out of the fight, and then this guy called me out on Twitter after my fourth fight and said he wanted to fight me, and so the opportunity presented itself, and everybody wants it until they get it, and he got it, ended it in the first round, so happy with that.
Absolutely. In this day and age, one thing we're really seeing is how important personality and entertainment is. Obviously, being a mixed martial artist, you have your brand, you look at it from a business view. You're a naturally outgoing guy. You're a funny guy, very witty, like to use social media. For you, how do you think using social media, entertainment personality, how has that helped your career so far?
I feel like I'm just getting started. I mean, after my second fight, I had my post fight speech kind of go viral on Instagram, and then I made a video recently combining all my post fight speeches, and that got over or around 2 million views. And I mean, LFA, they only have so much media coverage, and I just feel like it's gonna really take off once I'm in the UFC. So I think this is prepping me for the future.
No, absolutely. One thing, if anyone watches you fight, you're such a well rounded mixed martial artist. I mean, on the ground, you're very, very dangerous. You've also shown that you have the hands. For you, you kind of taken a non traditional route to this. You were in the NFL, you were playing football, doing big things at Fresno State, and then shifted over to mixed martial arts. At what point did you realize, hey, if I want to do this, if I want to go to the UFC, the big shows, that I need to be as well rounded as possible?
Yeah, no, I mean I've been wrestling since I was four. Wrestling has always been my main sport. I was a two-time Division I All-American while playing football. While I played running back in college as well, 17 touchdowns, 1,700 yards, and then I went to the NFL. But wrestling's always been my main sport. So I think wrestling is the foundation that's really helped me with MMA. And so I mean, you see all the success that wrestlers have in MMA, so I'm using that to my advantage. And heavyweights, they don't like to face wrestlers. I'll tell you that.
So many people are watching this sport in this day and age. I mean, there's UFCs almost every single weekend on Fight Pass. You can watch a regional show like 5 out of the 7 days a week. You have bare knuckle, all these great promotions. Very few people understand, though, what it's like to be a fighter. I think they look at the big names, they look at the Masvidals, the McGregors, the Joneses, and they see the fame, the glory, the money, the fortune. Battling on the regional scene, man, you're not making millions of dollars. It's a tough life. A lot of guys have to have a 9 to 5 job to fund it. You have to pay to train, miss birthdays, weddings, Thanksgivings, dinners, don't see family members enough. Maybe get a fight in the big shows like the UFC or another promotion. You've been doing this for a while, man. Made a lot of noise and for good reason. What's made you want to stick with this journey?
Yeah, you can't. You gotta keep your eyes on the prize, no matter what stage you're at. Whether I started with Bellator and PFL, I thought I was going to go that route. It ended up not working out. They had different. I mean, they sold the company, had different leadership and stuff like that. And so I thought it would just be better to go on the regional scene and rep out these fights, which I feel like have helped me a lot. But I haven't lost focus of the dream, and that's for the UFC gold and millions of dollars in my bank account. So I won't I won't lose sight of that.
This year's been a very productive year for you already. I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine. 3 fights so far this year, going out there, big finishes. Are you enjoying being active like this?
Yeah, I mean it's something I mean hopefully in my career I could stay on this type of path where I could be like the most active heavyweight in the UFC division. Um, it's all because it's all I ever known. You wrestle every weekend, and you're wrestling 5 matches a day. So and then you throughout that wrestling season, you show up back to practice, whether you're banged up or not. You still got to practice. You still got that tournament the next weekend, and so and with football too. I mean, you gotta when it's football season, you got a tournament or a a game every weekend. So yeah, I would fight every weekend if it was possible.
After the last fight, big exciting news. We're told that you're going to be on the Dana White Contender Series. Did you know beforehand that a win secured that?
Yeah, no, I already signed the contract before the LFA fight, and I just my mentality is I need reps and more reps, and the more experience, the better, and everything is gonna fall into place how it should be. And so um, that was my thought process, even fighting in my last LFA fight. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Um, Luckily, I am a wrestler, and with with wrestling, you could take the guy down and you could get out of the fight without a scratch, and that thankfully that's what happened. But yeah, it was a risk, but it was another win, and I like the wins. This is why I do it. I love winning.
Absolutely. For you, what's the ultimate goal?
UFC gold, millions of dollars in my bank account.
In this day and age, we see a lot of casual fans for the sport. I think maybe 10 to 15 years ago, there were less fans, but I think like if you ran into someone 15, 20 years ago who knew the UFC, odds are they could list you every single name on the roster. Now we have this new casual group, which is great for the sport. So many eyes watching it, a whole new fan base. There's certain guys that appeal to the casual fans. You're a guy, you're fun to watch, you're exciting, you play a character. Do you think you're exactly what the casual fans want?
Yeah, I would think so. And I mean, I wouldn't even say I'm playing too much of a character. I feel like I'm just speaking the truth. And back in the day, that used to be every American would just speak the truth and without fear of losing your job and being canceled. And so I feel like a lot of people they're not able to, well, they're not put in the position I am with the platform that I have. And so yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say what I need to say, and I'm gonna perform the way I need to perform. And it's not, and maybe in the future people will just say it's talk, but as long as I'm walking still, I still got to walk the walk, and I still feel like I'm doing that. I'm still putting in the work, and it will never change.
One thing I think is so cool if you're being a fighter, especially when you're getting on bigger shows like, LFA, the Contender Series, Bellator, UFC, all that stuff, you develop a platform, you develop a fan base. For you, obviously being in the NFL, doing the wrestling stuff, you've already had fans. But now to have a bunch of followers, what are some of your main missions with that? What are some values? What are some goals? What are some morals that you want to share with all your followers?
Yeah, I like that question. First, I believe in Jesus Christ, the one true God. I'm conservative. Um, and it's whatever comes with that, and I'm just going to continue to speak the truth of that, and yeah, I just continue to be myself, and I don't want to get into, I don't want to get all preachy, but yeah, I'll leave it at that.
So many people watch the sport, and I feel like most people have a clear understanding of what you're doing from kind of the surface level part. They understand your training, trying to get into the UFC, trying to win belts, trying to get more money, yada, yada, yada. But I don't think a lot of people see the fight that happens outside of the fight in combat sports. It's that fight to live a life on your own terms, not have to clock in at 9 o'clock in the morning, not have to clock out at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, to be able to secure financial freedom, to build
Mm.
up that platform, share your message, and basically live a life on your control and your terms without having to follow societal norms. For you, this journey's had a lot of twists and turns for you. Is that a big part of it?
Yeah, I just think it's all preparing you for your end goal, like your main mission. We can only we as humans we want a lot, and sometimes it doesn't align for I mean, how would I say it? God, I mean, man makes or plans the steps, but God, I don't know. That's how I look at it, and I'm just, yeah, it's preparing you for the end goal, and you can't ever lose sight of that. So, um, I take the losses as learning lessons, and I keep on pushing on, and I know it's going to work out for the better. Yeah, I feel like I'm about to break through. I'm in the position that I wanted to be in. Um, and so yeah, I'm preparing for my day, for my time, and I think it's near.
For you, do you feel that fighting is more mental than is physical?
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. Yeah, I mean it's a lot meant. I mean, because if your mentality doesn't align with, I mean, you could be a great athlete and mentally not be there, and then you are nothing. But I mean, if you mentally you are there, I mean your body will listen to your mind. Your mind is what's controlling this vehicle, and so if your head's not in the right space, your body is only going to follow it, and so yeah, you won't find success.
With the experience of obviously wrestling at a very high level, playing football, has that made this transition to competition a lot easier? I mean, for you, obviously, maybe a different sport, but does it all feel the same?
Yeah, no, I mean just the competition in general, because the biggest thing that gets us as competitors is the build up, and sometimes you let those emotions overtake you, and man, I have some teammates that are they struggle with that where they're not good competitors, and that's a whole nother ball game. They could be great gym warriors, great gym partners, and then they go out there and they're just a shell of themselves. And so competing at a high level like I've had has helped me and has prepared me, and I feel like it's all the same. And that's the one thing playing in the NFL that's helped me is like playing in front of hundreds of thousands of people, 100,000 people, with those big stadiums and stuff like that, where there's a lot of eyes on you. And yeah, I mean, with wrestling as well. I mean, because with dual meets and final matches, usually it's the spotlight and it's one mat, and it's just you versus the other guy, and it's still you got to be in the right headspace.
So you're getting ready, fighting on the Contender Series here in a couple months, taking on Guilherme Uriel. Overall, what do you think of the experience? What do you think of him as an opportunity, and what do you think of him as an opponent?
Yeah, I think he doesn't bring anything spectacular to the table. He is just a typical heavyweight, traditional fighting skills, traditional like Muay Thai striking, basic jujitsu. He's not very tall, not very big. Um, yeah, I don't. He has similar attributes to me, but if you come into the fight anywhere close to me, I don't think it will be fair. I think my skill set is too much, and I feel like I'm on another level than he is. And August 19th, I will prove that.
So you're going to fight in the Apex, over at the PI, fighting at a smaller cage with that wrestling background. Do you find an edge in this?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, heavyweights, they wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat thinking about facing a wrestler like myself. Like they don't, that's the last opponent they want to see standing across the octagon from them. The heavyweights are they're chronically lazy. You can't even get them to show up to practice. A full week of they can't even show up a full week of practice, let alone a wrestling practice. I wrestle every single day, and so yeah, that's the easiest path to victory, and I would be stupid not to take it.
You've only been competing as a pro now for about 2 or 3 years. Are you surprised that it happened this quickly for you?
I just know the heavyweights, the heavyweight division is a little bit different, and so I mean, you could talk to me 2 years from now, and I might be challenging for the title. That's how quick the heavyweight uh, division works. You get a few good wins, and because there's just not, I think there's only like 30 of them on the roster. So yeah, if I do the right things, and I think the numbers add up, then yeah, you'll see me contending for a title. So yeah, I kind of expected it, and that's why I wanted to get that extra fight under my belt because I know this thing's gonna go fast once I make it to the UFC.
So right now, obviously, you've had a lot of success in the LFA this year. You've had some success in Bellator. You're making a name for yourself. You're regarded as one of the top prospects, in the whole sport, in my opinion. Do you now feel like this is when this actually starts? Is it now being on the Contender Series, the road to the UFC? Is this when the journey really begins?
Yes, without a doubt. That's what I mean. With even with the social media stuff, I feel like it was all. It's a warm up. Everything, all the fights, post fight speeches. It's all a warm up because now when I win on my Contender Series fight, see what happens now. See how many eyes I draw to the division after I win. So I'm just looking to make the heavyweight division exciting again. So it's really dead, and it's in a sad state right now. No one's excited to watch heavyweights fight. They got no reason to be. You know, um, Heavyweights, they only fight once a year. There's no big names other than, I mean, John Jones and Aspinall, but other than that, so I feel like yeah, it's about to begin. I feel like chaos is about to begin.
You know, you mentioned that this has just been a warm up with the speeches. Obviously, been on the Contender Series and the UFC. Are you saving some good material for maybe in the future?
I always got something ready. I gotta be prepared, so yeah, I mean, you don't get many opportunities to make an impression, and so you gotta be ready. And best believe I'm ready.
There's a comparison that I draw with you and another guy who's in the UFC, who's had a really good run in the UFC. He's another wrestler. His name is Colby Covington. Is that a type of guy? Do you see any similarities there?
Yeah, I mean, other than he is a wrestler, and I think he is conservative since he was outspoken about, supporting Donald Trump and all that stuff. But to me, that's just a gimmick, and I don't. In the beginning, I respected him as a fighter. He showed up and fought, and man, if you ever see that day where I'm just talking and I don't fight, that's the day I need to retire because it's not just about selling the fight. At the end of the day, it's man versus man, and you got to live with those consequences that happen inside that octagon. And I will never be okay with losing. So you see his little post fight footage and all that other stuff. He's kind of accepts the loser mentality, and he's talking for no reason, and he's not backing it up. I'm not here to talk trash or anything. I'm just here to speak the truth, and I'm here to win, and that will never change.
For you, what would it mean to be able to find the UFC?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it'll mean everything. Um, I'm, it'll, I'll be one step closer to the UFC gold, and one step closer to millions of dollars in my bank account. I want to bring eyes. I want to bring excitement, and most importantly, I want to win. So I feel like I could do a lot of damage in the UFC. They don't have people like me. They don't move like me. They don't think like me. They don't talk like me. And so I'm here to show that I'm on a different level than these guys. And soon everyone will see that.
Every single day, do you envision that moment of you shaking Dana White's hand, sitting there on the chair after the fight and being told, Josh, you're in the UFC?
Oh yeah, I've been thinking about it a lot lately. Just getting closer by each day. Yeah, I'm prepared for my moment. And August 19th, it's gonna be a special day. Um, and I visualize a dominating performance. I have what I'm gonna say calculated and ready to go. I'm gonna be dialed in on that day, and I'm prepared to sign that I don't know if you signed the contract that day, but yes, I'm prepared to shake Dana White's hand and tell him that I'm ready to go and fight. I'm ready to fight next week. So yeah.
For you, how important is it to stick true to yourself and really represent the authentic Josh Hokit?
Yeah, it's important. It's important because uh you could let some of this stuff go to your head, and then you destroy important relationships in your life, and you could gain the whole world just to lose your soul. So I'm aware of that, but I feel like I'm in the right headspace to grasp everything. Make sure I stay true to myself while also um, being ambitious and achieving my goals and my dreams.
Absolutely. All right, Josh, last question for you, my friend. In a perfect world, what is the outcome August 19th on the Dana White Contender Series when you take on Guilherme Uriel?
The perfect outcome or the real outcome that's going to happen.
Either one, whatever you want.
I mean, honestly, he's going to be throwing heavy shots. He only has a puncher's chance. Take him down. He jumps guillotine. He doesn't get it. Because I'll be prepared for it. And then blood goes to his arms. His arms are heavy now from the wrestling. His lungs are screaming for air. And soon after, he gives up, and he'll give up in the first round.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Josh, man, thank you so much for your time. Absolute honor talking to you, and can't wait to see you step in there and go after your opportunity.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. That's it for us tonight. I'm Carl Pruzla. He is the Incredible Hoke. He is Mr. Josh Hokit. Stay tuned. He'll be fighting August 19th, Dana White Contender Series, taking on Guilherme Uriel. Take it easy, fight fans.